boy Bleed. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
What is going on, true believers? Thank you for tuning into the Believes Crypto Show. We're going to talk about all your favorite cryptos. We're going to figure out what's going on in this crazy world we call crypto. And I think we're going to get rich along the way. We're going to make a whole bunch of money. We are in the cut of altcoin season right now. We're seeing outflow of capital right now. We're not seeing a movement of capital into alts, not directly. We're seeing a little bit of profit taking along the way. That could mean that we've reached a local top. When we look at the M2 money supply, we might even be able to make that argument that we've got some sideways action getting ready to come. We've achieved a new top. And by the way, 123.9 seems to be right about where we ended up on the top. I would like to see a surge. It would make me feel a little more comfortable about the market to see a little bit more surge onto it. I would like to see that 125,000 because I have a feeling that when you look at 125,000 on a chart, you're probably going to see a lot of liquidation at that level. We'll check that out on the chart because it was a curiosity of mine, and we'll see where it shows up. I'm not really sure, but we'll zoom out just a little bit and see if we don't see a lot of liquidations, a lot of take profits set up at 125,000. So it would have been better, I think, for the market overall to have triggered 125,000. So let's see what happens going forward. But in the meantime, the easiest way for you to support me. And by the way, I had a lot of people questioning me yesterday about that fear and greed index. So I'm going to show you an updated version of the fear and greed index. Remember what we had yesterday, and we talked about how Bitcoin, you would have made millions on Bitcoin. We've got Joy Anderson here from Ohio. I lived in Cleveland for a while, so shout out to you. We got Maddie B, we got DJ and Brian, we've got Amit in the house, and we've got Steve Merck. What is going on? And good morning to everybody. I hope that you're having a great day. So let's kick it off. The markets are, listen, it's a mixed bag. We got Soros up a little bit, 15.5%. Pengu still having a little bit of a run up 3%, BNB up 3.5%. So we are seeing some movement here. You got Fartcoin up 3%, Cake up 3%, but generally speaking, the market is in the negative for the day. The flow is going outwards. So also Sahara up 57% on the day, Wrecked up 20%, Useless up. So you know what I mean? Spark is at 78%. So we are seeing some life in the market. This is not just an absolute capital wrecking, if you will. So I would have reason to believe that we're going to go up a little bit more. Okay. I think it's going to go up a little bit more. We got somebody who bought a DEOTC NFT. You are not the only one, my friend. Mine was bronze, by the way. I ended up with a bronze one. So it was not the one that I was looking for. I was actually hoping to get one of those, you know, big time super gold, silver, something like that. But alas, I got bronze. I still think they're going to be valuable. So yeah, hopefully. And by the way, if you guys did not see that DEOTC, I was sponsored for one video. I did a video for them, but when I went into their chat, like Shaitoshi Kusama's there. K9 Finance is there. Like, they've got a huge group of people. You just look, it was really weird, the level of excitement that there might be for DEOTC. So you might want to check that one out too. So, you know, Leo says, What's up with Weasel? I disassociated myself from Weasel yesterday, man, at the end of my show. Like, not that I don't have a problem with them. I haven't seen anything to inspire me and say that I think that it's going to move. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Does it do any good to buy too? Well, it was my impression that yes, they are. Also, hold on one second here. All right, so I got an update here. This is, hold on for me one second. Actually, guys, I might have all right, guys, I got to pull something up real quick here. I got one for you. This might be a runner. No guarantees on this one, but check this one out. This is Aussie AI. Now, listen, this is a what do you call it? This kind of an homage to Ozzy Osbourne. There's going to be a lot of those going around right now. Had a nice little rip yesterday. So it's Aussie AI. I'm going to put the contract address down here. I don't have any of this, by the way. So I'm going to give you the contract address and wish you the best on it. It's got a 12,000 market cap right now. Just a little while ago, it had a 50,000 market cap. So I want to say that in the event that there's some kind of move here, you know, you've had a little bit of sell-off here, a lot of profit taking along the way. Remember, we are still scalpers at heart right now in this market. So last night went up to 3.015. Now it's at 4.012. So it's down about 90% from its little 1 hour launch right there. So over the next couple of hours, you might see this thing get on quite the little run. I mean, it goes, put it this way, put $100 into it, goes to 100,000 market cap. You just made yourself an easy 8 or 9x. So check it out. The contract address is in the comment section. It is right there. All right. So also Rocky, for those of you that don't know, the pre-sale for Rocky is going to start. I'm sorry, not going to be pre-sale. My bad. No pre-sale. Rocky is going to launch on Friday, July 25th. Rocky is the token in the Blocky ecosystem. So let me pop this up on the screen. Let me find it right here. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so you're going to go into the Blocky and Rocky chat. It's going to be called Blocky and Rocky AI chat. Let me give you the link. I'm going to put it into, how the hell? Group info. I'm going to give this to you guys. All right, right there. That's the Telegram. It's in the chat down below. So if you want to check that out, go get in. Rocky is going to be launching on Friday. Going to be another opportunity for some liquidity rotation. So I would certainly grab yourself some. Remember, Blocky clocked in at one point around a 2 to 5 million market cap. Had a nice little run. This has come down just a little bit. We're waiting for, I think, listen, by the way, just so everybody understands here, if you're wondering why your low cap crypto is not running right now, it's because low cap cryptos are not running right now. You're going to find an anomaly. You're going to find an Aussie meme. You're going to find something like that. You're going to find something that will run a little bit. But let's go back over here and let's look at, generally speaking, top 100, Fartcoin up 2.5%. Pepe down, starting to move around here. Sahara, maybe that's a meme coin. Sahara AI, maybe that's a meme coin right there. But it went from 8 cents to 14 cents. It was a quick runner, probably going to just absolutely die and disappear. Wrecked, I think probably the same thing. I think that's Wrecked Capital. But I mean, going around here, you're going to find out every once in a while, you'll see a meme coin having a little run, but there's not an opportunity. Like, I don't think that there's, buy 2 NFTs. I would think so. I think that I think the answer to that is yes. Also, Fear and Greed Index is sitting at 74 right now. And the flow coming off of exchanges is starting to pick up. So, yeah, good. Flows for the ETF yesterday were outflows for 2 days in a row. Look at this right here. 131 million out, 68 million out on the again, capital rotation on the Bitcoin ETFs. On the Ethereum ETFs, probably first day of outflow. No, I'm sorry. What was I talking about? Massive inflows continuing for Ethereum. What does that mean to you guys? That means altcoin season. That means we're about to get an altcoin season. We're now up $8 billion. Remember, it wasn't 3 months ago we were talking about this being up like $2 to $4 billion, saying, well, you know what? That's a pretty good number. And I keep telling you, it's going to take off at some point. It's going to take off at some point. It's going to take off at some point. Well, the 19B4 filing has been done by BlackRock to create staking for the Ethereum ETF. So it is only a matter of time right now before this thing goes absolutely parabolic. And while we're doing that, let's look at liquidity. The biggest bag right now in liquidity is about 120,900, but we got to zoom out a little bit to see where the big number is. We're going to go to 2 weeks first, and 125 actually looks like about the top of the range, not the actual range there. I was wrong here. It looks like 121.5, 122 on that 2 week number. We go out to the 3 month number where we see a little bit more liquidity, and the number is still 121.5. That 125 up here just does not look very enticing. Does not look very enticing right now. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they haven't done anything with 125 and I'm just nuts and out of my mind. Well, actually, you know what? When we get to this level, now we're starting to see, I mean, again, 121.5. So here's what I think. I think we're headed up. I don't see a lot of shorts. Looks like people are going long right now. So not going to be much resistance along the way. I guess is what I guess is what I'm saying. So yeah, top of that range is 124,952. 124,952. Shit. 124,952 looks like the top of that range. So that is in the 125, but that's not where it's concentrated. It's actually concentrated a little bit lower, about 123.5, and then 121.5. So nonetheless, I think that we're on our way up. And by the way, now it's just pissing me off that my thesis was invalidated just by me looking at it. So that annoyed the shit out of me just now. Ugh. Anyway, we're down pretty big on the day, 117 billion. Thanks, Trump. Did that hurt? Did that hurt? Are you going to cry? Are you going to cry because I just said that? God, Jesus Christ. Anyway, looks like about 2 days worth of gains have been erased very quickly. We're back to where we were about 4 days ago. There's going to be profit taking along the way. I think it should stand to reason right now that, you know, what we're seeing here is the end of this run. We're up. We're you know, at best, we get a breakdown to the top of this range or the top of this range over here. What I mean is we get a break right there. If we get, you know, kind of a bounce from that spot, that would be a great thing. Also, there's this secondary spot right there where we could get a bounce off of. But if we're taking logic into account, then the next spot for a bounce would actually be the top of this previous range. So we could be seeing a dump in the market, a couple of 100 billion, taking us back down to 3.5, and then maybe we'll see a significant bounce off of that. Now, what do I think is going to happen? Well, I don't have to think, I know. And all I have to do is pull up that global M2 money supply and know that we are running the same. Like we are running, we're like moving like in unison with this market. Now, the one thing that I will point out is that I moved this off just a little bit a couple days ago. I want to move it back now because what I did was I took it to 110, and I don't think that number is right. But remember, we were just dicking around here. We got to go back to about 80 days. Let's move it to 80, see what that looks like. That's right there. So actually, that's not right either. You know what? That's actually pretty close. Let's do 85. Yeah, that's right about there. All right, so that would mean, and that kind of lines up pretty much where we are. So that gives you a fairly decent idea. I still think it's off. I don't think it matches up exactly. At best, let's do one more. I know I'm splitting hairs, but you know what? They're my hairs to split, so let's split them. All right, so there we go. That looks a little bit better. So it looks like we're headed up. Now, when we look at it from this context, what we're talking about is it looks like we've got this big move right here. We've got that dip right there that we're looking at. We got this little move. We got this big spike up here. And now it looks like over the next bunch of days, we're about to head so much higher. Okay. And then we're going to get an absolute blow off right here. And then we're going to get a dip. And then we're going to get a continued spike as it recovers, which we're seeing right up here. Now, what I'm talking about is this move right here is still on the table, and all of this move right here is still on the table. Again, we're just looking at M2 money supply, so it won't match up directly, but I mean, you're just going to see, and then you're going to see a big blow off, probably to 5 trillion. And then you're going to see a nice big dump here, and then you're going to see a reversal and a continuation. So this bull market is not over yet. This is just one of those profit-taking days. Probably, if you notice right here, where we are right there, you notice there was a big dump in liquidity right there. And when we zoom in on it just a little bit, you'll see what I'm talking about. I hope you can see it right now. It's that big spike that we're seeing right there. So that might be what we're in the middle of right now. Might last a day or two, then a little bit of sideways action, and then boom, next leg up. So it looks like we are about to have a sharp and steep sort of correction. So we'll see what happens. Now, again, get yourself some Aussie AI. Now up 10% from when we talked about it just a few moments ago. So grab yourself some of that Aussie AI, see what happens. Get ready for Rocky in a couple of days. All right, now let's move on and into meme coins. We're going to speed this. We're going to speed through this just a little bit here. Fiat is up 10% on the day. Devi's up 6% on the day, but Devi dumped because it went to 60% and 60 cents and just could not handle the heat. It could not handle the heat of profit. I guess I don't even know what to say at this point. What we saw yesterday was that they had a reserve strategy that they were talking about, that they were bringing out. The reserve strategy ended up being what I can only be described as a big nothing burger. We didn't get to the 200 MA. We didn't get anywhere close to the 200 MA. We didn't get any of the positivity that should have come from this move. It's absolutely breaking back down into that range. And as you're really watching it real time, starting to slowly but surely continue that dump. And when we put it on the hourly basis, then you can see right here, we're bouncing back down to the 50 on the 1 hour, which would make perfect sense. And we are and have flipped bullish in the last 24 hours, but we flipped bullish a couple of times attempting the breakout. So this is the first big breakout. And the last time we got that, we got this kind of surge right here, right? So if that's the case and we got this golden cross, it's already kind of played out, and then it immediately sold back down. Basically what that means is it looks like existing buyers are trying to trap people in, and that new buyers are not actually stepping in. Yesterday, there was an article from Business Wire, and it was about what DevStream was doing and that they now are using a Bitcoin reserve strategy. Well, duh. I mean, they're a crypto. That's, of course, what they should be doing anyway. And so it caused a spike, took us up to about 60 cents, and then ended up, again, like you had a massive sell down. So what this was it didn't attract new investors. It just got the existing investors to buy some right now to try to trick people in and say, hey, it's an artificial pump, basically. So we got an artificial pump taking us to 60 cents and got sold back down as soon as they realized it wasn't attracting new holders. What happened? We got the big move. Then we got that consolidation right there for a few hours. And then people said, well, new buyers are not stepping in. I'm selling. And those are the people that were accumulating right in here. So now you have it right back to where you were. Hopefully you get a bounce off of this range, and then you get another new spike. Maybe if that happens over the next few hours, or maybe if they make any sort of announcement, you'll get a nice little spike and a nice little move. Now, the one thing that I could say to the positive is if you zoom out, then this does mean that you've cleared up a little bit of the problem right here. That was that liquidity right there, that there was a lot of trade volume right there. But it is cleared up because now you've sold out on this range, And now you can start going up to that next range at 70 cents. So maybe we'll see a move to 70 cents coming in the short term. Now, the other thing is, I do think that we are flipping bullish, but we have not yet. And that's that right there and that right there. That's a lower, that's a higher low. The last time we got a higher low led to this right here, and then you got a spike up into that $1 range. So there is a call to be made that maybe, just maybe, that's what we're about to see. Also, this looks very similar to this right now, just in terms of the way it's being traded. By the way, when you look at it, you got a spike, you got a spike, you got a top, you got a spike, you got a spike, you got a top, happening a little bit faster because we're in that bull run phase. Then you have that breakdown, which you then had that breakdown, and now you've got that immediate spike back up. You've got that immediate spike back up. We could be looking at a breakout right now. Okay, doesn't mean it's going to go very far, but it does look like there is a potential there for a breakout on DevE, but we'll have to keep watching it and see. This is the bullish phase, and people are going to get, look, if DevE is not doing anything yet because they're not quote unquote ready because they missed the mark when it comes to the bull run, and we're not going to see that crazy parabolic sort of move until after everything else runs. If it can't go out there and find its way, price comes down and doesn't take off during that time, people are going to get frustrated, and we could see some lower lows yet again. I mean, I'm not convinced that we're in a reversal. I'm convinced that they're talking a good game kind of behind the scenes right now, but I haven't seen anything that would tell me that we're going way, way up. However, I think the important part about that is this. Unless you're an insider, you would have no idea anyway. The announcement that changes everything fundamentally with DevE could be in 10 minutes for all we know. That they're just being quiet because something massive is about to happen, or maybe they're not. We don't know. We're not getting signals from them, so there's no accounting. But I did AI, I used AI, and AI told me that in the event that they did what they said they were going to do, if they partner with the people that done everything that we're talking about, if that is the case, then maybe, just maybe, it's going to get crazy. But again, I don't know. I have no idea. What I did do though is I took, somebody asked me this question. They said, listen, you talked a lot about the fear and greed index. And I told you the fear and greed index was going to do whatever. So what I did with Bitcoin, I'm going to do with Ethereum. So, and we did do that. So my total final answer here, okay? I want to take you guys back to what we did before. The final answer was for Bitcoin. For Bitcoin, we would have had a total of 9 trades playing this Bitcoin game. And that is, you buy 1 Bitcoin and then you flip it every time the fear and greed index is at 30 to 70. So you buy when it hits 30, the day it hits 30, you buy it. The moment you see it hit 30, you buy a Bitcoin. Could go down a little bit more before it goes back up, but then you're going to sell it when it goes to 70. That's the deal. And over the course of the last 7 years, there were 9 opportunities to make those trades. If you made those trades every single time and then you rolled the profits, then you would have made 9 transactions off of one $3,500. And this is very important. Bitcoin was $3,500 when this started. Off of one $3,500 Bitcoin, just following my strategy, 30 to 70 on the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, you would have made $7.28 million on 9 transactions with an average profit of $800,893 per trade. Now, that is not the first trade. The first trade, your profit was only about 8,000. So just imagine what some of these other ones were when it happened. You went in with 1 Bitcoin, but by the time you went to the second round, you had 2.2 Bitcoin. Then the next time, I think you had like 4.7 Bitcoin, and then you got a parabolic run. So the next thing you know, now you've got 15 or 16 Bitcoin to start. It just grew and grew and grew rapidly. Here's all the trades right here. Your 3,500, You ended up selling for $12,000, which means that you made an $8,500 profit. And then the second time you got an opportunity to buy, you bought at $5,500 instead of $3,500. So you had 1 Bitcoin there. But when you bought at $5,500, you were able to buy 1.5 Bitcoins. And then when you made your next buy in trade 3, you bought at $7,500, but you made so much money on this transaction from $5,500 to $18,000 that you ended up buying 4 Bitcoin for that run right there. So, absolutely insane. Okay. And by the way, that was the profit from it, 4.245. So you now have 6.78 Bitcoin. You have 2.5 when you do it here. Up here, now you have 8.8. Up here, this is the big move right here. You got 19 Bitcoin, then you had 29 Bitcoin, then you had 39 Bitcoin, then you had 76 on that massive run in 2024. Then you had a whirlwind of going from 83,000 right here, and you accumulated 99. So by the end of this, you have just a huge number of Bitcoin. Well, we applied this to Ethereum, and the results were unspectacular. The final analysis here, the average profit per trade on Bitcoin, 800,000. The average profit per trade on Ethereum, 52,982. Now, the other part to that is if you were to do it, then you would have bought 1 ETH at $120. So it would have been a much more affordable event. You would not have nearly as much skin in the game, is the point. Now, the other thing is you bought at 120, you sold at 300. So that means that you had $180 in profit. So then the next time it came back down to 150, but now you have 300. So you were able to buy 2 ETH that got you an extra amount. And by the point is, you keep going through all 9 of those trades. Your final trade profit here was $200,000 on that last trade. But the answer here is clearly that the Bitcoin Fear Greed Index is all about Bitcoin. It is not about alts. Now, apply this. I could also do this, by the way. Apply this same strategy to Solana. And let's see. Something went wrong with Grok. Duh, of course. Good job, Elon. Oh yeah, I forgot. I ain't going to Grok 4. Anyway, we'll try that again later, and I'll let you know what happens with Solana. But I mean, you can see right here, like this is the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is about Bitcoin. So do it based on Bitcoin. CC, if you haven't already, you should get yourself some CC. Down a little bit on the day, but 2138. Like I'll take a 10% dump. That's fair, because remember, not only that, we've got a big reversal here. By the way, this reversal looks exactly like DevE. So it looks like maybe our new buyers stepping in. This one, I think that the new buyers are stepping in. By the way, I should remove that. I think new buyers were stepping in, but we were seeing old buyers selling off, is what I think we end up seeing right there. I think that's what happened. And if you didn't, by the way, TassHub, TassHub, I was on their spaces yesterday, asked a whole bunch of questions and stuff like that. If you want to go listen to that, go look up TassHub online. So we'll see what happens. And Matty B, he sold yesterday. So yeah, it was existing holders who were selling off because they had an opportunity to make $10, $20, $30. You know what I mean? Like to make a little bit of profit and then boom, so maybe they buy back in, maybe they don't. We'll see. But where is Bud 2? 1513. I think it's holding up pretty well. CC Cash down just a little bit on the day. CC Rewards down a tiny bit today. So Maddie says, no, I sell to 2 weeks ago. All right. So in case you wonder if Maddie B sucks at investing, the answer is yeah. I sold 2 weeks ago down here and missed the entire gigantic pump. Ta-da! So Matty B lost his faith. Matty B lost half his bag by not holding on long enough to see it through the pump. So rest in peace, seller. You got wrecked. Unbelievable. You got to hold these. You gotta hold them, and you got to take it when it pumps, not when you get infuriated because it dumps. You got to hold. You got to have faith in the projects. You got to have faith in everything. Look, CC's not around every day because she's not working for your bag. And you have to recognize the symbol. You know who you haven't seen in a long time? We they're not working for your bag right now. And that's what's happening over here. I don't see anything happening. 37,000 market cap, only 7,000 in liquidity. Remember, it was 9,700 in liquidity yesterday, and that is down even more, another $2,000. I don't see them doing anything right now. I don't know that they are or are not. I don't have any communication with them. I reached out to them about partnering, stuff like that. I was like, listen, I'll talk about you every day for some tokens or something like that. And they were like, no, at this time, we're going to be doing whatever it is that they're doing. And what it looks like at this point is nothing. So, I don't know. Nothing going on there. So, whatever, man, we'll see. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, will it reverse? Maybe. I'm still holding a little bag of it. I mean, nobody's holding a large bag. Let's put it that way. Like I said before, I'm not convinced that charity is the way to go to begin with, but whatever. Lil Puff, where is Lil Puff? Lil Puff is down here. I hope you listened to me, and I hope you got in when I said get in. I hope you got your profit when I said take your profit. I hope you followed it, and I hope you didn't do the Matty B thing and just sell the bottom and buy the top, or I don't know what he was doing. And also Moon over here, maybe that one's gonna rip. I don't know. I'm keeping it on the radar here. I think like Moonshot, I have like $20 in it, something like that. So if it does anything, I'll be interested to see if it does anything. Or is Jeff Kuradikis just, is everybody just exit liquidity for Jeff's new, I'm going to do this now sort of thing? I don't know exactly what it is yet, but we'll see. As far as the rest of the market, let's talk about VeChain. VeChain, of course, AJ said VeChain is going to go crazy. Since he said that, it's been dumping super fucking hard. And God damn it, I felt like I was like, you know what? Call that big shot, Daddy. Let's do it. And it didn't work. But we got rejected off of the 200 MA, which means that we're still bearish on VeChain. But all it needs is one little surge to go bullish, and then you get that crossover. And what we're looking for in all these, we're looking for that golden cross. Every time we get the golden cross, massive move. Every time we get the golden cross, massive move. So all we're doing is looking for that next massive move. And to be fair to AJ right now, it is my opinion that we're going to come back down to the 50. And then this is going to start coming down just a little bit more. This is going to be coming up a little bit more. We're going to get that crossover, and then we're going to have a parabolic run on VeChain. It's already in the cards. You can see it starting to line up right now. And if you look at the market, the market's going to go so much higher. So if that's the case, then yeah, there's going to be a crossover here at some point very, very soon. Crossover like this right here that we just saw break out on XRP. To me, XRP is about to go so much higher. It's been waiting for a long time for this move. So we are about to see, to me, an exponential run on XRP. Now, XRP has been moving ahead of the rest of the market. You look at Bitcoin, it's been moving with Bitcoin. Bitcoin XRP correlation looks really tight. With Ethereum, not so much. The movements, yes, but the excitement of the move, not so much. Same thing with Solana. We're not seeing the same sort of enthusiasm. So Bitcoin and XRP right now, it is a two-horse race right now. Ethereum, on the other hand, let's go look at volume over here on the DEXs. You got Ethereum at about $4 billion, which is right in line with Solana at about $4.5 billion. So, and you now have in stable coins, $131 billion in stablecoin on Ethereum. People know where they want to trade, and they want to trade on Ethereum. So if as we start to break out, Ethereum holds up very well, then you could see a breakout from Ethereum. But make no mistake about it, that's where trade volume is still happening. It's not getting blown away by Solana. It's still having a good time. We should consider, again, Solana is retail. Ethereum is institutional. And what we're seeing right now is we're seeing that play out. And by the way, BSC is also the same. It's also retail. There's no institutions building on Binance. You know what I mean? So, these two right here are an example of retail being there. This is institutional being interested. And don't forget, we got staking coming very soon. So Ethereum is going to break out, but it's not having, again, Solana is not really having that run. Ondo, not really having that run. Sui, not really having that run. OM, certainly not having that run. Devi, absolutely not having that run. Luna Classic, not even close to that run. API 3, nowhere in the neighborhood of that run. Go down the list here. You're not seeing it anywhere else except Bitcoin at an all-time high, XRP at an all-time high. Those are the ones right now that are in the race. And when you look at the rankings right now, Bitcoin at 2.3 trillion market cap, Ethereum at 435 billion, and XRP 195 billion. So, and by the way, despite everything that's happening, Tether continues to add to its market cap. Here's the market cap. Tether continues to just soar in market cap over the last couple of months. So the money is still coming into the market. The money is still flowing into our coffers. It just hasn't been deployed as capital into the market right now because it's sitting right there in Tether. Not only is it sitting there in Tether, but remember, USDC was about 60 billion. Look at this right now. It just spiked up from 60 billion, which we talked about the other day, all the way up to almost 65 billion. So the money is still pouring in. It's just going into stable coins to be held right now to be deployed into the market. So guys, we're going so much higher. When dominance starts to break down on stable coins, when we start to see the move in stable coins, that's when we're going to say, well, some of our thesis might change just a little bit. So you look at, this is the total market cap right now minus stable coins. This is the total minus Bitcoin and stable coins. So you are seeing movement. You are seeing, all this playing out. You are watching it. And it still looks really good. I mean, this is total 2, and then this is total 2 with stable coins. So there's not much of a difference. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's not much of a difference. But you want to watch how those stable coins, are they affecting your charts a little bit? And to be fair, when you remove the stable coins from the chart, you should see, because it's 162 billion on one and 64 on the other. So you should see a dramatic drop off on this little spike right there. But let me do that one more time and look at it. There's just barely any movement right there. And what that means is capital is still flowing into altcoins. So we are going to go so much higher on altcoins. It is my belief now that we are headed to the top of this range right here at around, 1.6 trillion market cap. I mean, surge, maybe 2 trillion market cap. Like, we are heading so much higher. So there you go. Okay. Now, what else do we have here? Arrow down 7% on the day. Conflux down 3% on the day. Crow down 3%. Listen, this just feels like profit being taken for the purpose of putting it back into Bitcoin. Okay, that's what it really feels like right now. That people are taking their deployed capital, they're moving it back to Bitcoin because Bitcoin sellers are starting to sell at these prices, thinking that the top is in, the local top, that is. Also, when you look at the RSI, let's get down into the 4-hour RSI and see what we see right here. No. You know what? Actually, we look pretty clean. It actually looks pretty clean. So let's look at the MACD. The MACD is actually moving pretty well. So I think we're going higher. I think just like this consolidation right here, I think this is just a stair step for another level. So, I think that we've got some profit taking and a move towards the upside coming very, very soon. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know I don't know what your thesis is, but mine is that we are about to head so much higher. So bull market indicators. No bull market indicators have been triggered, which means that we are still going higher. At best, you might look at Bitcoin dominance, but Bitcoin dominance is 60% right now. It's coming down. So, we're starting to see that. Also, altcoin season is starting to overheat right there at 49. So, when we trigger altcoin season, Bitcoin dominance, when those start to get triggered, then we might start seeing, some exiting. But in the meantime, we're still at 100% hold because it's about to go so much higher. So, I guess that's it. I think we've made it. All right. So, and we did that, by the way, without me even worrying about what is going on in the news right now, because I don't think any of that matters. Macroeconomic factors, the tariffs, and you guys should know by now, I support the tariffs. I think the tariffs were actually one of the good ideas that Donald Trump's had. I'm not really opposed to that. So, but I do think that it's going to cost more money. And I think that they're being disingenuous and they're lying, because what they're trying to say is that it's not going to lead to any inflation. You know what I mean? And here's the thing. If you were to look, I mean, the easiest way to look at is what Donald Trump is doing. Gas prices by month average. I mean, this is it right here. This tells you whether or not it's working. Are we going to have inflation, what would you call it, curtailed? Are we going to curtail our inflation, or are we not going to? I mean, that really is like the question. So, there we go. There it is right there. A year ago, regular was 350. Okay, so we're better than we were a year ago. And by the way, there's a lot of different data that you could look at to justify any sort of thesis that you want to come up with. A month ago, it was 322. A week ago, it was 316. Yesterday, it was 314. Today, it's 315. So you can see it was headed down. Now it's heading back up again slowly. Now, when we look at it from the EAI, which is for some reason no longer updating, way to go, Trump. Your website doesn't work. Is it crazy that? Is it crazy? It's probably crazy. Yeah, it's probably crazy. Yeah, God damn it. So the government website that tracks gas prices is down. Not tracking gas prices. What does that tell you? What does it tell you? I mean, be honest. What does it tell you? Does it tell you that Barack Obama owns that website and he's the problem? Does it? So anyway, what my point was, we actually had some downward momentum on gas prices. We were actually seeing a little press down on the prices, but now we're not seeing it nearly as much as we were before. This is the period for monthly. Here you go. As a matter of fact, if you look at this right here, just the United States, you can see right there in January, the average price of gas, thanks, Joe, $3.07. In February, it was $3.12. And then Donald Trump, mine, $3.09 became $1.98. You remember when that happened. Then it was $3.17. Then it was $3.15. Then it was $3.15. So, not for nothing, you were better off under Joe Biden in gas prices than you have been under Donald Trump so far. Doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way. I would assume that at some point Donald Trump is going to turn his attention towards gas prices, because I don't think that he understands how, or at least I think he should understand, like why is it still so sticky? Like, what is it about their profit margins? What is exactly going on? You know what I'm saying? That's because Biden sold our reserve. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. We don't use our reserves. The reserves are for reserves. It has nothing to do with it. It's the fact that we buy and sell it on the open market. That's what this is all about. Has nothing to do with the reserves. That's ridiculous. And they didn't sell all of it either. The U.S., as of now, has significant oil reserves. It had 46.6 billion proved reserves. U.S. crude oil and least condensate proves reserves decreased 3.9% from 48.3 billion to 46.4 billion year over year. That's it. So from 48 billion to 46 billion. That's what you're saying. Oh my God, to. I mean, like, you know, numbers are still numbers, right? And you know that this data is still look upable, right? So when you say stuff like, it's because we sold all the oil, we went from 48 billion barrels to 46 billion barrels, and that's your argument, that's not even logical. That makes no sense. No, it's because it's in an open market, and because people and all of these oil companies, without saying it out loud, are colluding with one another to keep the prices artificially raised. They're lowering the number of refineries. They're making it more difficult and inhospitable for transport. BP, I live near a BP refinery, and guess what? That BP refinery, every time oil prices go down, it goes offline for maintenance for a month or so. So no. Like, holy shit. Like, you can actually go to the websites and look this shit up. Even the Trump administration will show you that we have plenty of oil. We're not struggling because somebody sold oil reserves. It's not why the price is up. The gas companies and the oil companies don't raise their prices based on how much oil the United States has in its pocket. They do that based on how much money they can make. Right. He sold 180 million barrels in 2022 alone. So we went from 48 billion to 46 billion. Are you even doing the math? You've got to be doing the math here. It's got to be making sense to you. Like, that's just some kind of bullshit argument that some right-wing website gave you to try to justify why gas prices were high. Gas prices were high because Joe Biden was helping the oil and gas industry and not going after them to keep prices low. And my hope is Donald Trump does something to keep gas prices low. And what he is supposed to do is protect everybody, not just protect the rich and wealthy. He's supposed to protect everybody. So if he does his job, then he'll go out. And by the way, he doesn't have to do any kind of penalties. He doesn't have to do any kind of threats. He doesn't have to do anything to them other than say, I want gas prices to come down. They are too hot and they are too high right now. What can we do to make that happen? And then they're going to come to the table and they're going to say, well, you know, for gas prices to come down, this is what we're going to need. And then Trump will decide whether or not he can do something about that or not. And then they, as a show of good faith, they will start to lower the prices of producing gasoline. Or he might even order in a time of emergency that more refineries start to come back online. That's what we really need, because that's when gas prices were low. What's happening now is what we've done is we've increased the travel costs. Why? Because if you travel and you go a long way to deliver gas, guess what? You need, in order to do that, a lot more gas. So you keep the prices elevated. So we'll see whether or not they do something about it. But that's why there's inflation right now. That's where inflation comes from. It's the cost of transporting goods and services across these great United States. And the worse we do at protecting the consumers, the higher the prices go. The better we do, the lower the prices. So like Muskrat King says, pretty soon he will be protecting you. There might be, you know what I mean? We only have 402 million barrels. Well, each barrel has what? How much oil does each barrel have? Because I just gave you the numbers from Department of Energy. I just gave you the number from Department of Energy, and he reduced it by half. I don't watch dumb news, so I have no idea what the dum-dums have told everybody to think. That's just retarded. I'm sorry. What I meant to say was that idea has an extra chromosome. How much we have in reserve isn't going to affect the price at the pump. It just doesn't do it. Now, and by the way, that could be that somebody said, oh no, there's a scarcity or something like that, and you can temporarily pump it by a week or something like that. But that's retarded. I'm sorry, that's more Elon Musky than you might even think, because that's not. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? The summary of your thesis is because the U.S. has less extra oil. Get the fuck out of here. Holy shit. Holy shit. Anyway, that's the show. I got to go. I need to take a pill now. God damn. It's not financial advice. I'm always right. I appreciate you guys, and we will talk to you very